Welcome to the news show. On this week's episode, we're covering new research on how Neanderthals, if you want to be more official, how Neanderthals got it on. The controversial Catalina Island deer annihilation program. Is your wife or daughter or you wearing illegally imported fake eyelashes made of mink fur? Are tattoos going to be totally screwed in the future? And just when you thought Coloradan animal rights people couldn't embarrass their state any more than they already have, they do. Bringing you this news, we've got me, Stephen Rinella, along with Giannis Putelis, Dr. Randall Williams, Spencer Newharth, Brody Henderson. The show is broken into 3 segments: our news, your news, and the news. Starting us out with our news, we've got Giannis with no news.
Why is it no news?
Because you haven't caught a lion. How do you report on that?
In this case, no news is not good news.
I don't know. I'm always the optimist. You know, my dog and I are still getting out there on plenty of nice hikes in the mountains, enjoying ourselves, practicing what we're trying to do.
He's trying to put a positive spin on this news.
You think if Mingus could talk, he'd say, yeah, this is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You think the dog isn't bummed that you guys haven't caught one yet this year?
I don't know if he knows. I have no idea of sort of what his sense of time is.
Yeah. I'd venture to guess that the dog doesn't think of it as being that he's in this season.
No.
And then there'll be another season next year.
No. Yeah. And I don't know that he knows that it's been a long time since he saw a lion. Right?
But I would venture to guess that if you had 2 bowls of kibble, and you could metaphorically put chasing a lion and catching it into one bowl, and then just sort of aimlessly chasing scents through the woods in the other bowl and never catching a lion, I think he would go for that bowl first.
You think he would?
I think so.
I mean,
you don't know what mental trip he's on.
No.
He could be like,
he's a real process-oriented guy.
He could be like, when he's laying there sleeping, you think like, oh, look at him sleeping. He could be there being like, I'm a loser. I always knew, I came from the kennel. I came from the dog pound. I'll never live it down.
Or it could be the opposite.
My first owner abandoned me.
When he's on a line, he could be like, God, I hate this, but I know he likes it a lot.
Or he's like, if we caught one 2 months ago, I wouldn't be in the best shape of my life right now.
Yeah. Or he's like, I don't see the point in harassing these poor things. I'm not going to chase it up a tree.
Oh, rebelling.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe he's disappointed in you, Jani.
What do you think about this, Giannis?
That could be too. It's been humbling. That's what I think about it. Because he's 5 this year. So really we've been hard at it this would probably be the 4th year, right? So we've had 3 years. One of those years was cut very short by that accident that we had together with Mingus. So really he had like 2 good years. And in those 2 good years, he had a year where he caught like 16 lions and then a 13 lion year. Wow. So to go now to this year to have none, it's like, oh, were those flukes?
Or he's lost the edge?
Well, no, I don't think 16 and 13, that doesn't.
You don't luck into that.
That's not like, if it was like 2 and 1 and 0, I'd be like, well, maybe 0 is normal. But 16, 13, 0, something happened.
Yeah, the weather happened.
Are you blaming the snow? Is that the problem?
For sure. But I've also just had a string of bad luck where on the good snow days, we've found tracks, and one day the tracks literally filled in with snow in front of our eyes. Like it was snowing so hard. Multiple days I've had tracks that just took a left when they should have kept going right, and they went on to private land. So I just called Mingus back. One day I felt like we were within hundreds of yards, less than 1,000 yards of a pair of lions, and it literally was getting dark on us. I'm like, you just gotta, at some point you just gotta call it, because it's getting, it gets dangerous when it gets dark, right? I don't want to leave him out all night long. So there's been a string of that kind of stuff also. But the fact that, we've had like the worst snow winter in a long time has definitely played into it.
Understood. Thank you, Giannis.
You're welcome.
How many numbers of days in the field?
Oh, sorry, we're back to it.
You know, I wish I had
I just had a burning question.
No, that's a good question. Because I feel like I've been hunting roughly the same amount.
Oh, that's even more troubling.
Between over the last 4 or 5 years. But I don't have a number for you. But if I had to guess, we've been out maybe 20 days. But
thank you, Giannis.
I've talked about this before. I think I talked about this on a previous podcast. The one silver lining of this year
is not catching anything.
We caught a bobcat.
Oh yeah,
which I know you're real frustrated about that, but
catch and release.
The
he
bobcat.
Didn't have his.
I know.
No.
But that's huge for me as a hound owner.
Oh, that's a triumph.
Yeah, for him to be able to do that all by himself, it was a big day. So all is not lost. Like if that's the only thing that happens this hound season, it'll be a pretty good season because we accomplished that one thing.
Yeah, I would just say you caught one and leave it at that.
One cat.
Did you get any cats? Yep.
Yeah, but I mean, if you talk to like our good buddy Jake Gribb, he'll tell you that one bobcat is worth 10 to 20 lions.
So then say that.
Eyes.
Say 10, 20.
Yeah, then you're right on average here.
Yeah.
It's not over for you yet anyway. You got what?
You got time.
Another month?
Yeah, I got a big month.
Big
still.
hot, you get big hot snowless month ahead of you.
70 degrees next week.
They're saying it's coming.
I can't believe
moving
the
on.
conversion rate is 10 to 20 mountain lions for one bobcat.
I don't believe that. I think that's an exaggeration.
It is so hard that
Moving
many
on.
people
I'm sorry I did this,
literally will not cut loose on a bobcat track because they're like, it's not worth my time. We're not going to catch it. We're just going to end up on this long chase and end up in a pile of rocks, and I won't get to see a bobcat.
I'll take the blame for this.
Maybe it's even higher.
A lot of ground to cover.
50 mountain lions.
Yeah. I mean, it's so special that
This is what I was afraid was going to happen with this our news section.
Listen, Steve, it's so special that I would consider like getting a tattoo to honor.
Now I believe
What's the
you.
word I'm looking for?
To memorialize.
Yeah, memorialize.
I would have it be a tattoo, no tattoo, and be like, this blank spot on my skin is the year nothing happened.
No, he should get a lion tattoo to be like, oh, that's what they look like.
Didn't you just do an indefensible law, Steve, where people should memorialize places where things didn't happen?
Well, I did one where you would put signs where people almost got killed.
Yeah, that's good.
On the subject tattoos, the Radio Live finale, a tattoo artist came in and in the office, he did 13 tattoos that day.
Oh, wow. That's efficient.
Brody got his first tattoo ever,
let's see.
which my wife thought was cool. When he gets all done, this is my news here. He gets all done, and me and him get the BSing, and I'm like, hey, act like you're giving me one. Get it all set up. Act like you're giving me one, and I'm gonna send it to. We have a family group text chat called the Free Trappers. So
cute.
I'm like, act like you're giving me one, and I'm gonna send it to my family and be like, I finally broke down. I can't believe I did it, but I got a tattoo. I send it, no reply. My little ones later told me they knew it wasn't true. My wife had already talked to Brody, so she knew it wasn't true. My 15-year-old, going on 16, this is why I know that tattoos are in trouble. The tattoo industry is in trouble. Okay. 15-year-old, he says, that is so blank. I can't say what he said because he'd get in trouble with his mom. Later, he thinks it's true. Later, he says to me, dude, don't ever comment on my haircut again. Like, coming from a guy with a tattoo. And in him and his buddies' minds, I gather, it is the dorkiest thing a person could do. Not rebellious. Not rebellious. It's like, oh my God.
Times have changed.
Oh my God.
I don't think so. Tattoos have been
Well,
around
Why
for
doesn't
thousands of
I
years.
know, but
They ain't
allow me
going
to finish
anywhere.
my thought. Here's why I think that his social circle is interesting. They have a foot in two worlds. He's been brought up around all kind of redneck stuff, knows all kind of rednecks, right? He just went and pulled calves at his buddy's ranch, but he also knows all about rich people. He knows about like rich urban people and ski people. So here's this kind of interesting mix of redneck stuff and rich people stuff. And from either side of that, he's not getting tattoo cool factor from either side. So I just am worried about the tattoo market.
I'm not, because my kid said, I want to get the same one as you.
I was wondering if you had data to back up your argument.
Well, I'm looking at data
Spencer-
right now, actually.
Spencer went and got his Trump themed America the Beautiful
Okay.
pass.
Moving
Hold on. Phil has data on this right now. Can I hear it?
I'm looking at
interested.
percentage
It's
of
the news.
Americans with tattoos over time. In the year 1936, it looks like 10% of the American population had tattoos. If we jump, and then in 2003, that's a long jump. So it was 16%. But then we have from 2003 to 2012, 21% of Americans had tattoos. From 2012 to 2015, that number jumped from 21 to 29. And from 2015 to 2023, that number jumped to 32%. So in the year, it's been a steady
But
increase.
Steve is talking about the
Steve's
future
looking
from
over the
here.
cliff.
Okay.
That's why Phil should do a better job of listening.
So your argument
I
was
said
like
the
right
future. The future.
now. Okay, I'm just saying the trends disagree.
We're in the tattoo
Your
bubble.
trend doesn't show the future because it's not known
wants
yet.
to make
Oh my God,
I
you're
know
right.
the future. That's why I'm
Markets
telling
bet.
you.
He's forecasting a sharp decline
Okay.
based
From
on
2020
I
his
have
son's
going
reaction.
forward.
I have detected an attitudinal shift. And I
A
looked
lot of
at
data.
and so if I'm going to go on to a prediction market, I want to make a bet that in 20 years there has been a cataclysmic drop off in tattoo rates because I've had a glimpse into the future by talking to my kids' buddies.
Yeah, you could be very, very right. Based
That's
on
all
what
I'm saying.
based on what they're doing to the alcohol industry and how they don't like sex in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, a bunch of prudes.
Yeah. Spencer got a new pass. Explain this. This is very interesting. This is legit news.
I went to Yellowstone a couple weekends ago, and my winter trip there is usually when we get our new pass for the year. It's called the America the Beautiful Pass.
How long has that existed?
Since 2004, I believe, some version of it has existed.
Oh, here, Phil's got them pulled up.
The America the Beautiful Pass, it's $80. It grants you entry to national parks, national wildlife refuges, also covers your day use fees. If you're in national forest, grasslands, BLM, Army Corps land, a place where you're required to pay a day use fee, you typically don't need to if you have
It's
the
like a
America the
good deal if you do these things a lot, right?
Certainly, yeah, yep. But I think although there's like so many places it gives you access to, these are primarily just used in national parks. That's what people buy them for, is to get in and out of national parks for a year.
And you and the missus buy one every year.
Every year since we moved to Montana. This is our 7th pass that we've had. I've got 3 of them here now.
Why didn't you buy it in South Dakota?
We just didn't attend national parks the same way we do now. Didn't live as close to
It's
as
seen
many of them.
Rushmore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But that'd get you into Rushmore.
It would get you into Rushmore. Yeah, national
Speaking of
monuments,
Rushmore.
I believe. The America the Beautiful Pass, it's like the size of your credit card or driver's license. It's a laminated card. Now, traditionally, these have a photo on them of wildlife or landscape, and I've got past examples here that you can see.
Phil, can you go back to that shot you had up?
And that's showing you like the last decade of them.
That's a roseated spoonbill.
That is yes, correct, from the Everglades.
So what year is that?
That is last year.
Everglades National Park, roseated spoonbill. And then what year is this?
2024, that's an eastern collared lizard.
Okay, lizard 2024 pass.
2023, it was a landscape picture from Kings Canyon National Park. So that's, you get an idea of what they look like.
A polar bear
past.
from what park would that be from?
I don't know. Denali? Does Denali
Gates of the
have-
Arctic.
Gates of the Arctic.
I also don't think it has to be in a national
I don't
park.
think- well.
It's just like federal land.
Okay.
And it's
But you
again,
did say it's got to be
it's
like by law.
I don't think it pulls.
since 2004, it's been a federal law that the way these are chosen is there is a picture contest done by, the National Parks Foundation. And the winning photo from that is on the pass for the following year.
Okay.
So this year, you can see what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be Glacier National Park in Montana. That was what the winning photo was from last year. But the Trump administration has changed this. They are breaking this 2004 federal law, and instead, it is a picture of George Washington and Donald Trump on the pass.
You see that, Bill?
And
It's
this
on the TV.
this has made some folks very mad.
For
It's
those
just too
watching
much,
on
man.
YouTube,
It's made folks very mad to
And he
where
doesn't look like he's at the park.
no, it has. You wouldn't look at that and think, wild.
You know what
places.
it looks like? It looks like he got to the outhouse at the park. He got to the porta potty at the park,
It was
and
locked.
it's overflowed.
It's locked.
And he
because
opened the door, and he's like, "Someone's gonna pay."
That
is
is
the
what he's
vibe I'm
saying.
getting.
Yes, and you can see these photos on our YouTube channel. And
Well, yeah, I mean, in all fairness, this is 250th first president, current president,
Right.
250 years of presidents. I think that's what this is going for here.
yes, I mean he made a lot of changes with national park related stuff this year that is supposed to be more patriotic. For example, he got rid of Juneteenth and MLK Day as free days, and he's made Flag Day, which is his birthday, and then President's Day as free days instead. And this is all patriotic themed. He's also this is a good one. He bumped up the fee for non-residents. If you're from Canada, if you're from Italy,
I support that.
and I agree. I think that's
the
like
other
a
stuff
North,
I don't get.
that's
but
a North American thing that we're like. If you want to go recreate in Colorado as a non-resident, you pay a higher fee. That's
And
like part of it.
They've also removed like indigenous perspectives from like
That's totally different.
Yeah,
thing.
and
Little
let's
re-
talk
little
about
big
what
sign.
happens
Field.
if you put a piece of tape over Trump's
Yeah.
face.
So within days of the new year, when these went into effect, the National Park Service had to release a statement saying that your pass will be voided if you alter it by putting a sticker over it, by drawing on it, by
has that always been true?
yes, but I don't think anyone's ever tested it. It hasn't been a problem.
But it's always been the
It's
fact.
always been true. Yes. And like for example of how much drama this has made, there's an Etsy shop seller who has started making stickers for these. And she said that she would like give that money to public lands for what she would sell. It's a sticker that would go over Trump's face. She made $16,000 in the first month. Just doing that.
What is
So-
the sticker?
I don't remember. I think it's
maybe
it's like a
smiley
wildlife.
face.
It's
think
like
it's
a
a
wildlife.
pika.
Yeah.
maybe.
Pica.
We've looked this up on trivia. You can say it pika or pica.
Who can?
Anyone can. Go.
I can't.
You can have that on a future.
wasn't it, Spencer?
We
was.
did this on. We addressed that on trivia.
Huh.
That's right.
Okay, what's next year's? Are they going to revert next year's pass to the winner?
I don't
This
know.
would be like if the duck stamp, like the whole duck stamp competition.
Yeah.
If all of a sudden the duck stamp was like a duck with like Trump's face on it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, no, that's the duck stamp this
Well,
year.
yeah. So the Trump administration has not been great to the national parks. Doge cut 1,000 employees last year.
Yeah.
They tried to slash the budget by 38% this year. The Senate rejected that. So Trump, not exactly a mascot for the national parks. I was trying to think of an analogy. It would be like if we had a MeatEater Radio Live listening pass, and then Steve put his face on it.
Yeah. It's a great analogy. I totally understand.
That's what it would be like.
Or if he let Elon Musk take an axe to Radio Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this drama is going to get bigger. The national parks get 40% of their visitation between June and August. So there's a lot of folks who are going to be buying their pass in a few months.
aren't
It's
aware of
already
it.
it's already been a big deal. But it's going to become probably a bigger deal.
On a related note, someone just shared with me, this article's a little bit older now. I've been kind of hanging on to it. Someone shared with me an article, an op-ed that came out. It was a guest essay called MAGA Elites Who Live on Their Phones Are Ruining the Outdoors. And that's a hyperbolic headline. But what it points out is we've moved away. We're currently moved away from the old style of like outdoor Republican. And like you think about the Bushes were anglers, right? They would vacation at like Kenny Bunkport and go fishing. Anyways, this article lays out this idea that rather than trips to Wyoming to fly fish and stuff, what we see out of the administration is golfing in Florida. And this individual argues that there's then been this like perspective shift away from this like tradition of outdoor Republicans into like indoor Republicans. The guy is a research. So the guy that wrote it, you should go check it out. Listeners should check it out. It'll do one of two things. It'll either make you so mad because you disagree and you'll be like so mad, you'll be mad that we mentioned it, or you'll be so happy we mentioned it because it already aligns with what you think. So you can go, no matter who you are, just think about this. No matter who you are, you can go read this and reinforce your opinions. And be happy or sad.
If you ever read something that everybody agrees on, it's probably not worth reading.
It'd be like reading a park pass.
Yeah.
That's a joke. The guy that wrote it, you get a little suspicious when you read what he does. So he Dr. Lazak is a researcher at the University of Oxford and the University of California, Berkeley, who studies the politics of climate change. So guess what his biases might be? Another piece of news. We're doing a new series called the Time Machine. So every month we're taking artwork, like see this one here? This goes back the farthest. This is a time machine artwork of Clovis points, archaeological drawings of Clovis points. That's this month. We're going to hit the Custer battle, the battle of the greasy grass, or the battle of the little bighorn, depending on what side you're on. Pittman-Robertson Act. Every month you can come check it out. T-shirts, hoodies, time capsule. We go back in time. That's the Clovis shirt right there. They're all limited run tees and hoodies. Find them at the MeatEater store website. Okay, moving on to corrections.
Corrections.
That's from Fiddler on the Roof. This is our inaugural segment of corrections, where we have a correction of the week contest sponsored by Diekov. So corrections are like this. If you're sitting around, like normally in today's political climate, and I mean this is what I'm sticking it to both sides on this. People just say stuff that's just wrong, and they know it's wrong. It's like a flex to say stuff that's just wrong. Because it's kind of like, it's like, I know it's wrong, you know it's wrong, and now you're going to have to live with it. But we try to invite corrections. So if we say something that's screwed up, or we make a mistake, or omit the truth, or whatever, we invite your corrections. We want your corrections so bad about things we're wrong about that if you get the correction of the week, you win a pair of Diekov boots. You send your corrections to the MeatEater podcast at themeateater.com. We got 3 to choose from to who wins the Diekov boots. Okay. Going in the future, we'll only be accepting corrections from the news show, but we're accepting corrections otherwise right now. Episode 838. Someone writes in, this is his correction. Episode 838, Steve is talking about a hen turkey making bad calls and uses the term on accident. The corrector goes on to say, as a writer and someone who makes a living speaking, he should know it is by accident. He goes on to say, fewer things annoy me more than this. If he could please correct this going forward, it would make my listening experience much better. You don't do something on accident.
Are we voting at the end?
At the end. Yeah, you can't vote.
I'm not voting for this guy.
Can I mean, maybe my grammar's off, but shouldn't those quotes be outside of that
Thank
period?
you, Giannis.
He made a
I was about to
Right
make
back
that
in his
same
face.
point.
Same
Back
thing.
in his face.
Yeah.
In your face.
Yep.
I think this
you
guy's
know what?
already-
I got it. Steve.
Period
This guy's name's
inside of
Steve.
quotation
Steve,
marks.
I got a little suggestion for you. Learn how to put your quotes in the right place, buddy.
I think this guy's already lost his
He's
chance
out.
at a pair of boots.
He's out. Close call, but no.
Well, I'm sure that he placed those periods there by accident.
Ah.
But, so on accident, I'm looking this up, and I see that it's
like colloquial, but I don't. Is it a grammar thing? I've heard you say
Colloquial
both.
often means wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Because
But I don't think he's gonna win because he got like back at him. Okay, on mink, coals, and bad smells. Here's a contender. Here's a real contender. He's referencing back to episode 838. Okay. Around the 31-minute mark in the episode, Steve referenced the 2020 cull of mink in Denmark. We were talking about during the COVID pandemic. They found out that mink were harbingers of COVID, and they started killing all ranch mink in Denmark. And I said that the mink all went to market. My understanding was, when I first heard about the cull, I thought it would cause mink prices to skyrocket because there's no more mink. But someone said the inverse was true. It was a massive influx of mink pelts because they had to go pelt all the mink. And so it flooded the market with mink and tanked it. So I said they were all pelted out. This guy says the cull was so hasty and disorganized that it didn't give the opportunity for many of the affected mink farmers to pelt out, meaning to skin them all. Given that just before the discussion of the mink cull, there was a discussion of various bad smells, you may also be interested in the fact that the cull resulted in millions of mink being buried in mass burial sites. And the fact that they hadn't been skinned meant that some of them started to decompose and bloat and push their way out of the ground, which media dubbed zombie mink.
I like that.
That was from Doug.
That's a correction of a correction you received, right? Because your initial impression was that they wouldn't be skinned. Your initial assumption.
Yeah, but that was internal.
Yeah.
That was a legit correction.
Yeah.
Now here's like a great correction that's going to compete with the mink correction. Episode 829, at the 14-minute mark, we're talking about we're talking about salmon leaving their natal spawning streams and going back out to the ocean. Or are we talking about ones coming up?
Coming up.
Oh, okay.
Pretty sure.
Either way, we're talking about fish loss at dams in the Columbia system. Okay?
Oh no, were we talking about smolt going out?
I think it's smolt.
it's smolt going out.
Smolt going out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry.
And we're saying that they're losing. That at every dam these fish encounter, they're losing 7 to 15% of the population at every dam. Brody, in all of his ignorance, I say I can't even do that math. Brody does, and he says that's over 100% him being dumb.
Jeez.
Yeah, that's not how the math works.
It's not how the math works. This guy writes in. It's actually like this. If 200,000 salmon attempt to make it past the first dam with a 15% mortality rate, there will be 170,000 that make it through to attempt the next dam. After dam number 2, at 15% mortality rate, there are 144,500 smelt left. If you continue this trend through all 8 dams, you are left with 54,500 salmon. This is a total loss of about 73% at the high end. If you use the 7% mortality rate with this method, you end up with 111,900 fish after the 8th dam. So the total mortality rate range is from 44 to 73%, not as what I did in my head, more than all of them.
Yeah, this is this is probably going to get a correction too, but it's like the reverse of compound interest. Whereas
I don't
like
know about that.
if you have money invested as it grows more. As it shrinks less in each iteration.
Understood. The way That does it. Okay.
You got a minor in math? You got a doctorate?
I was
in
actually
math?
just thinking we should at some point just have a podcast episode with a statistician.
Yeah.
About draw odds.
And just probabilities for the Joe Blow outdoorsman. We can explain things like this. We can explain draw odds.
That's a great idea.
idea.
You know, because that's another thing is there's a lot of confusion about draw odds.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
A hunter,
It might not
mathematician.
be. It might not be a 2-hour podcast, but it could be a FWAP.
If you
in pitching this,
qualify, please write in to
Yeah,
the MeatEater podcast at themeateater.com.
I also need someone from the. Did you know that there's a discipline that zoos have zoo SWAT teams? Okay,
Mhm.
and there's like a leading figure in the zoo SWAT team area. And she made a YouTube video one time about her industry and her training, tactical zookeeper training. And in this video, they're like shooting slug guns through woven wire fences. She does her interview in front of a bear with a bullseye on his brain.
Yeah, you need to clarify what these SWAT teams do.
It's for
They're not
if-
after people.
It's for if monkeys get loose.
It's for the Harambe
or lions get loose.
the Harambe contingency.
or someone
they
falls in
had a kid fall into a gorilla container, and they killed the gorilla.
Mm.
What zoo was that at?
Cincinnati.
So we reached out to people within this zoo SWAT team community, and they're like, no one will talk to you. This is a very tight-knit community. No one will speak. If X person won't speak, no one will speak. But X person has spoken, weirdly, but won't. If you are in the zookeeper SWAT team business, we would love to talk to you on the podcast.
That does sound like a good one.
Oh, it'd be a great one.
Yeah.
But they're like, they don't want, zoos have to have a zookeeper SWAT team.
I do know someone.
Well, I know, but I didn't pan out.
like
man.
on
a different-
site, or they call people in.
No, I think they got tactical trained people who are ready for a lion to get out.
I would
Yeah.
also guess that they're wearing multiple hats at the zoo.
Yeah. I think
Yeah, it's
you're
like
right,
it's
Spencer,
like
yeah.
the
But they, in their
Like-
mind, it's a dirty secret.
Hmm.
I think it's more that nobody wants to see animals harmed at the zoo, but if something happens where it's between an animal and a human being, then they'll do what they need to do. So I think that there are people at zoos who are trained lest something get out of control.
Yeah,
that they
but I
can
don't think
do
that's
what
a
they
dirty
need to
secret.
do. Right.
Someone out there works in this field. I would like to have a serious conversation on the podcast about that field. Like what is the training? What is the probability? What are some examples where this has occurred? Why does this go on? I don't feel like it's a thing that they're like, hush, hush, can't talk about that. It just seems weird to me. Some more audience emails.
Wait.
Well, we got to pick a
vote.
winner.
Yeah, we
Between
gotta vote.
we're voting between millions of mink and thousands of salmon.
Gosh, it's tough. Like
Okay,
number 3 did a lot of math.
so number one,
2
the guy
had-
that can't use his quotes,
facts.
right? Any votes?
here's one way that I'm thinking about this. If a good correction, I would think, is one that you would deliver to someone to their face if they're a stranger at a bar, and they'd walk away going,
Oh,
"Huh."
yeah.
This is good
If you were at a
information.
bar with
Oh.
a stranger and they said,
Uh-huh.
"It's not on accident, it's by accident," then
I would like that guy.
you would.
Yeah.
Just from the
Really?
That's
sheer
like that's something
bravado.
like Nate Mason would hit me with that.
That's true.
It sounds
Mm.
obnoxious.
You
All
do
right.
like Nate.
But he's kind of obnoxious.
I like, but it's not really opening your.
He'd tell you that.
It's not really opening your eyes. You know, you wouldn't go home and be like, you know what I learned today?
No, I would tell my wife that. I'd wake her up in the middle of the night.
Explains a lot.
I
Baby, I
stand
can't
corrected.
sleep.
I stand corrected.
I can't sleep.
I don't think guy number one would even vote for guy number one in this one.
Okay,
I
so
think he knows he's
any
not
votes?
gone.
We got 7 voters in the room. Guy number 1?
No.
Okay. Guy number 2, not all mink were discarded. Not all mink were pelted out.
I'm voting for
Yeah,
that guy.
yeah.
Well, you know why you're voting for him? Because the other guy's goofing on
No,
you.
no. I'm voting for him because it's like he's bringing the like receipts. He's got an article.
Yeah,
It's like
right. He's
Oh.
bringing information
Yeah.
in articles.
Okay.
I will
He's
say,
enlightening us.
Yes.
typically
All
That's
right.
why he's
in
got
the
my
news,
vote.
when somebody calls something a zombie, something like a zombie deer, I don't like it. I like this use of zombie.
Okay, I'm voting for him. So for the mink guy.
But don't we all need to be like closing our eyes here
Nope.
or something?
Okay, the math guy, goofing on Brody. He wins some Diekov boots.
Wow.
We had some people that abstained from
Corinne
voting.
didn't even vote.
No,
Why
I
does it
voted
not
for the
say
mink guy.
in the thing that he's making fun of
Oh,
me?
you voted for the mink guy?
Oh, hold on, we got a miscount.
That means
breaks the tie.
Phil,
Phil is
listen,
the
way in here,
tiebreaker.
dude.
Oh, I'm like Florida.
Jeez. Okay,
A lot of hanging chads
the
around.
mink guy. No.
Mink.
Sorry.
Okay, the mink guy.
Try
How many times are you going to change your vote? This is election
Inside,
fraud
dude.
here.
Okay, final. This is some hanging chads, dude.
Wow.
Final vote. Final vote. This is serious this time.
Okay.
The mink guy. 2 votes for the mink guy. The math guy.
Oh, wow. Steve convinced himself to
All
change his
right,
vote.
Max
even.
Allen is the
'Cause
winner
he's
of a
goofing on
pair of
Brody.
Clovis.
Steve's undefeated.
We will reach out to you.
Because he's goofing on Brody. That's why he got my vote. Max Allen, you get a free pair of boots. You can tell us what size and style and all that. Someone
Enjoy
will take
those
care
boots,
of you.
Max.
Okay, quick audience email. We're running behind time. We got to hustle.
Imagine that.
No one even comment on this.
I feel like we're right on
Yeah,
time.
I think we're actually doing pretty good.
No one even comment on this.
Okay.
Guy writes in the Screwworm episode 835, you guys relate a story from Kevin Murphy's childhood about putting an altered bull to work for breeding purposes. What I was talking about is Kevin Murphy. I was driving along with Kevin Murphy, and he's telling me about working at a ranch. I said, what kind of work are you doing at the ranch? And he just relayed to me a story that they would be able, in the old days, they would surgically redirect a bull's penis so that it was coming out backward. You would make this bull wear a big ink blotter on his neck, and you'd turn him out with your cows. He would detect that a cow was in heat, and he would mount the cow. But his pecker being misoriented would not result in fertilization. But the ink blot would mark the cow as being receptive, at which point a farm boy or whoever would, like Kevin, you would then rush out and artificially inseminate that cow. I thought that was very, very, very interesting.
That's great.
This writer writes in, and this listener writes in my time spent cowboying out west, we have come to call these heat-seeking missiles, he's being metaphoric, he's being poetic there, Gomer bulls. Gomer. Gomer. Perhaps from Gomer Pyle, I don't know. Gomer bulls or teaser bulls. And he says that phrase is commonly used in the equine industry as well. Gomer bulls are often selected because they won't cut it as a good breeder bull genetically, but are generally easy to work and be around. Advances in animal husbandry have made vasectomy the primary method for sterilizing these bulls. I could relate. And for the cows, we often use paint patches that work like a scratch off, rather than lots of ink and paint. The patches can rip off and do a good job showing who's been getting ridden by the Gomer bull. If he sees someone with a cowboy hat on backwards at the airport, he points out, he calls them a Gomer. He wonders, does Kevin Murphy consider himself livestock adjacent enough to wear a cowboy hat? His hat's not quite a cowboy hat, but Kevin Murphy entered cowboy hat validity through an entirely different path, in my view. He could have never looked at an equine or bovine animal and wear a cowboy hat. Switching to the news. The news. Dr. Randall.
Well, there's some exciting developments in the world of Neanderthal or Neanderthal romance. There is a report, a paper that came out last month in the journal Science that concluded that like for a while we've known that humans and Neanderthals share DNA and crossbred at some point, but they've now determined that the preponderance of those interactions and couplings were had to do with a male Neanderthal and a female Homo sapien.
This is showing because they can track like mitochondrial DNA and yada, a bunch of stuff I don't understand.
I found a term called the Neanderthal desert.
Okay.
Which refers to the fact that in human X chromosomes, they show much less Neanderthal DNA than the rest of the genome.
Okay.
And if you're a specialist in this area, I'm going to misuse a lot of these terms.
Oh, so get your corrections ready.
But if I use, say, 60 to 70% of them correctly, write in and say you did a good job, because that's what I'm aiming for. So there were a bunch of theories about why this might be. It could have been the Neanderthal DNA could have been missing from the X chromosomes because there's some sort of like health risk or something that would just sort of be weeded out through natural selection, like if whatever that Neanderthal DNA made the offspring more susceptible to certain diseases, right? But what they did is they went and looked at Neanderthal DNA, and they found that Neanderthal DNA on their X chromosomes, they actually have like a much higher percentage of human DNA in them, right? Because there's DNA from both sides. So they kind of reverse engineered.
I never even thought to look at that.
Yeah, so
you could take an old Neanderthal dead guy, bones, and be like, well, he's got some Homo sapien lurking in him.
Yeah.
Huh.
And so that's essentially that's the explanation now. And there are other reasons that could sort of account for it other than just like sexual preference.
This has nothing to do with sexual. They're trying to make it like that.
Oh no. I don't like. There are some theories.
I already have it figured out.
There are some theories about like you can have whatever sex bias in breeding because of like distribution, like whatever Neanderthal males travel more, something like that.
Sure.
But basically they've ruled it down to the fact that for whatever reason, Neanderthal males and Neanderthal and human females were the most likely, like overwhelmingly more likely to couple than say a human male and a Neanderthal female.
In the pieces that I read about this, and I can't remember where I read them, but the pieces I read, it was like they were sort of getting into the suggestion of like attraction.
Yeah.
Was there an attraction component? I don't know. Earlier I told you what would happen in the future.
Yeah.
I could tell you what happened in the past if you'd like.
Yeah. I mean, I read another article that was very much leaning in the opposite direction of the attraction to be provocative. It was just like, for most of human history, mating resembled what we see in animals, and that there's no consent, right? And it's, it's like when you watch a duck with a duck, it's sometimes ugly. But in any event, they went the opposite direction to be more provocative.
Okay.
Right. But
that there was a coercion element.
Yeah.
That's where I'm going.
Yeah.
In understanding this, and I don't know that maybe you guys know this, mule deer and white-tailed deer will not infrequently interbreed. And I believe that when they do that, like they'll have their offspring don't do well. But I've read that, I don't know why this is true. I've read that it is typically a white-tailed buck breeding a mule deer doe. But I've never read why. Is it because I don't know if it's that the other couplings don't produce offspring, or is it that that's just how it goes and that's just how it goes?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the other really interesting thing that I pulled up when I was doing my deep dive on Neanderthals was like there's another human species, the Denisovans or Denisovans, who are they're sort of like the Asiatic version of a Neanderthal.
Okay.
And they split off like around the same time as the Neanderthals. The Neanderthals sort of went north and west, and the Denisovans went east. And this is one case where they just found, I think, like a finger bone in a cave in Russia. and they discovered that, hey, this is a different type of human. And they sort of done what Heffelfinger's doing with the Merriam's elk.
Yeah.
So they're going back to older fossils that they assumed were just either just normal Homo sapiens, and they're identifying them retroactively as Denisovans or Denisovans.
They had been miscategorized.
Yeah.
I was reading a book on human genetics. I want to say, like, if I'm wrong, it's still an interesting book. I want to say that it was in this book. No, it wasn't in that book. I was going to say it was in the 7 Daughters of Eve. I can't remember what the hell book. I was reading a book about human genetics. In the book, they were talking about that, you know, as the human diaspora, as humans spread around the world, there are pockets of the world that have much higher Neanderthal DNA concentrations. There are pockets of the world that have no.
Yeah.
Like in Africa,
like sub-Saharan Africa.
Yeah, like in Africa, like down into the African continent, Neanderthals weren't down there. They were a European, predominantly European, Asian, Middle Eastern species. So people that remained in Africa, they don't have introgression from Neanderthals. He points out that this is a very hot loaded subject. And he said that there's even been a reluctance, he claims in this book, and I can't remember the guy's damn name, he claims that there's been a reluctance to talk about what populations around the world have a lot of Neanderthal because it would be viewed as disparaging these people.
Yeah.
And so he said it's become like a sort of hush-hush subject because it's people would view it as derogatory. Yeah.
It is interesting. I think like our understanding of Neanderthals has changed a lot, and now we recognize that they buried their dead and they wore jewelry and they used tools and lit fires and things like that and probably had language. But
dove for shellfish.
Yeah, but for a long time, obviously, there was this sort of, I mean, I think what Western science did for a long time is like look at something else and assume it's lesser than, right? If it's not Homo sapiens or if it's not, you know, previously, like if it's not European, it's sort of on this order of being, right? And there's like this progressive view of these things. But now I think it's like the Neanderthal DNA story is even more interesting because like I was reading something the other day that if you have, they found in one study that people with more Neanderthal DNA or a certain sequence of Neanderthal DNA were more susceptible to bad COVID outcomes. So it shows like how, you know, like some chunks of Neanderthal DNA could go missing over time because for whatever reason it makes people susceptible to certain infections. But
I wonder if they had bad COVID restrictions in their communities. The authorities are like, no going outside of your cave. All their Amazon boxes are laying around unopened.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened. You ready?
Yes.
I think that Neanderthal groups would now and then overpower Homo sapien groups. They would kill the males and they would keep the females as concubines. That's exactly what happened.
I can't dispute that.
You ready to move on?
I think it's a plausible explanation.
I don't know. These guys are not Neanderthal guys. I don't know.
You
guys want to chop it up?
That's good news.
All right.
Can I tell you my favorite Neanderthal little thing?
Sure.
I was reading a book about Neanderthals. It had a lot to do with Neanderthals. And this guy was talking about when they exhume all these Neanderthal remains, they see a predictable suite of injuries on the bones. They were showing them to physicians. And there was a physician who had treated a lot of bull riders in his career. And he pointed out that, wow, the types of injuries I'm seeing are very representative of what I see on bull riders. Out of this came this idea, and this guy wrote about it, that they practiced a confrontational style of hunting.
Yeah.
They mixed it up.
You're not saying that bull riders are like Neanderthals.
No, I'm saying that he was like the
That
kinds
could
of
be.
breaks and lesions he saw reminded him of what he sees from bull riders getting trampled, gored.
Yeah.
But you have to
stomped.
have a little bit of a Neanderthal mindset to
so.
get on a 2,000-pound animal and ride,
they
it,
should
ride it around.
They
Yeah.
should research the genetics there. What I would like to know is if it went the other way. Did Homo sapiens do the same thing?
Well, that's-
to
That a
Neanderthal?
bunch of female Homo
No,
sapiens
no.
raided
That-
a Neanderthal camp, killed all the women, and
that
brought the guys
Homo
home as
sapiens would
concubines?
do that to Neanderthal
I mean,
women.
that is one theory as far as
Because it's
Not-
only like a
or
one-way
sorry.
path that Randall's talking about, right? Like Neanderthal.
Oh, yeah. Understood.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not that good. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean there is like at some point human behavior changed because that's one of the explanations, at least for the extinction of the Neanderthals, is there's no like discernible physical change in humans over that period of time.
Mm.
So whatever, when we went from cohabitation to one species being left, there's a change in culture.
Yep.
That explains it. We can move on from Neanderthals, or I can offer one more factoid.
Please.
The old man of La Chapelle, famous Neanderthal remains that was used for a long time to sort of imagine what they looked like.
Mhm.
For a while, they thought that this is like the best model of a Neanderthal. And then at some point, someone pointed out, this is like an old guy with some serious back injuries and a lot of arthritis.
From
And
confrontational
he
hunting.
probably had a more upright posture. If you can imagine, like,
Yeah.
if we discovered some, if we're aliens and we came in, this is the way it was put on one thing. It was like, if we're aliens and we arrived on Earth and we found
Joe Biden.
Shaquille O'Neal's, or like, and we're like, my God, they're all 7 feet tall and 300 pounds.
Shaquille
Or, like,
O'Neal's remains.
or if we found like some decrepit, old person who walks all hunched over. It's like
Understood.
you jump to some conclusions. So that's one of the sort of changes in our thinking as we recognize this is probably not the guy we should go on for a benchmark.
I don't know if there's any Melville readers out there, Herman Melville readers, but a Neanderthal expert is this podcast's white whale.
We have
Just cannot find one.
we have a bunch of
Really?
emails in. I found some, and they are too busy or
Mm-hmm.
have declined. So it's a whole. We have to find the best.
If I had a zookeeper SWAT team person standing here and a Neanderthal person standing here, I would go Neanderthal.
Maybe
they
we need to
don't-
get like a bunch in a row. Like now, like if we get multiple ones, like we have one, and then the next week we have another Neanderthal guy. And then
When I was
another-
on Theo Von's show, he's got a huge show.
Yeah.
On Theo Von's show, I said, hey, I'm looking for a Neanderthal expert. So I thought, well, I'll reach new people.
Yeah.
Because like there's like the hosers that listen to our thing and that wasn't working. So I thought I'll talk to
We love
the
you.
hosers that listen
Yeah,
to Theo
we-
Von. Still nothing.
That was a big JK from.
Phil, can you pull up my assets really quick?
Oh yeah, sure.
Sorry, I forgot this. This is
Yeah.
this
Why
is
did you not use this the whole time?
Well, I forgot about it just until now. This is a recreation of a Neanderthal, and then if you
I'd go home with that guy.
yeah, if you go to the Natural History Museum in Vienna, they have a thing that scans your face and renders you into any number of hominid
Ooh.
species. So, Phil, if you'll continue to my next slide, that's what I look
that's
like
right.
as a Neanderthal. Sort of spread my eyes apart and added a more prominent brow ridge, but you can see my mustache on the bottom is still red.
I'm not seeing the resemblance.
Yeah.
No,
really.
they need to update. They need to
eyes.
update their
In the
program,
eyes.
dude.
It's I'm
Come
sure.
on, you can see
Like
a
you're
little bit.
bug-eyed.
Yeah,
No, I can't see
Yeah, I
Randall.
don't
I think
know.
AI is going to upgrade
He's
that
like
process.
still got his,
Didn't you
like,
say
kinda
there was a like a
red
red
skin
hair?
I believe
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Moving on. Yanni's going to bring us now about. Yanni's going to talk to us now about Catalina Island Mule Deer Eradication Program, which we've touched on periodically over the years. Just as a recap, we're going to find out where things stand now. As a recap, there's an island off the coast of California called Catalina Island. It has.
Can you put up the map there?
It is hosted. It has hosted a number of non-native species over the years. There was a herd of American buffalo that were brought out there for a film. they are there, but but there is a large population of mule deer on Catalina Island. They were not historically on Catalina Island, but they were historically just inshore from Catalina Island. So, brings up this question. Are they native? Are they not? People want to get rid of them. They don't want to get rid of them. So over the years, we've often mentioned various things about they're expanding hunting opportunities for mule deer on Catalina Island. They are retracting hunting opportunities for mule deer on Catalina Island. I've never even fully understood it. Giannis is here to tell us where it stands now because there's been significant buzz.
Yes. And to cut to the chase, when we're all done here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, I will still not fully understand it. No one probably else in this room will fully understand it. Yeah, I signed up to cover this little story yesterday, less than 24 hours ago, and I thought, oh, this will be easy. Well, once I dove in, I see that this is one of those that Steve likes to say makes its own gravy. So I'll try to give like an overview of what's happened and really just state facts, and then I'm hoping you guys can sort of start then, asking questions. We might be able to get into the stuff that doesn't seem so factual about this story. Like Steve said, it's Catalina Island. It's about 75 square miles. Some important things you need to know. It's 88% roughly private land. And that land is managed by the Catalina Island Conservancy, which is pretty much an organization, a nonprofit, private conservation org that is made by and made up of the people that own the land.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. The Wrigley family.
The Wrigley family. Yeah, they definitely have a lot of influence. They basically, they also own like most of the businesses that operate on that island. I think there's like 4,000 to 5,000 people that live on that island. If you live there and work there, you most likely work for them in some way or another.
And rent from them, maybe.
Probably.
Yeah,
so that in of itself gets tricky because people want to protect their livelihoods, right? And then talking and saying things that, might cause problems. You may or may not want to do that.
Yeah, you're living in a company town.
Yeah.
You don't trash the company.
Yeah. So we have this conservancy, this Catalina Island Conservancy. They want to restore the island. I think that their motto is basically to do the best they can, be the best stewards of that land through recreation, habitat management, one other thing. But they want to make it be as though as it was before contact. They're sort of like what I would call island purists.
Yep. Like restore the native vegetation. So you're looking at it, you're looking like what it looked like a long time ago.
Exactly.
Yep.
Before the deer, they had, like you mentioned, all these other animals. Feral goats were a big one. There were also cattle that were once run on Catalina Island by the Wrigley family. Like it was a business, right?
Okay.
They have kind of gotten rid of all these other grazers and animals, but the thing left are these deer that are still, and you can see there's pictures online where you can see enclosures and you can see the line, like often we see in Mexico when we're hunting Coues deer, right? Where the cattle have been on one side of the fence and they haven't been on the other side of the fence, and one side looks scorched earth and the other side looks pretty lush and green, right?
Yeah.
And tall grass. You can see images like that online if you look for them.
It's where they got deer fenced out or in.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Conservancy is saying that at this point, like they've had a hunting program on the island for 20 some years. And again, this hunting program is run through the Wrigley family or this Catalina Island Conservancy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They believe that it's not doing enough to suppress the deer numbers to make a difference in letting the habitat rebound. They want to see more of these sort of lush forbs brush living there and less of that cheatgrass, non-native landscape going there. And they believe that the deer browsing is causing that, right? They're eating the stuff that they're preferring that stuff, and they're letting this other stuff grow more of. They have for years been trying to get a permit that basically allows them to do massive culling efforts and take out as many of these deer as they want, because again, they feel like the hunting program is not doing the trick.
Can I wedge, because you're trying to go just facts, can I wedge a not just fact thing?
Yep.
Do you mind? Could I be that? Could I be the guy that does the not fact thing? I want to choose my words carefully here. A common refrain among people who have attempted to do a mule deer hunt on Catalina Island is that they do their best to make it impossible.
Who's they?
The Conservancy.
Okay.
Likes to, like, this is just a viewpoint that is expressed to me, is that they pay lip service to a hunting program, but make the hunting program, they set it up to fail, is a common refrain among friends of mine who've tried to participate in the mule deer hunt, is they set it up to not work.
Yeah.
It's disingenuous.
And it's been all over the place as far as who can hunt there, how much they can hunt there. They've had years where it's only been a couple hundred tags. They've had years where it's been 1,000 tags. They've had years where only locals can hunt, only Californians can hunt, and then other years where you can have non-residents coming in and hunting.
Okay.
When they had that, it wasn't very well publicized, so a lot of people didn't know, and then those that knew were sort of keeping it hush-hush because it's like, oh, we got a good thing going. Like, we're not going to tell all of our friends about this great hunting opportunity.
They didn't want to spot burn on the eradication program,
which is expected. So, kind of where we are now is that they have the Catalina Island Conservancy have gotten to a point where they got this permit to basically do the culling that they want to do. And it's a 5-year program, and they're allowed to do it. They, to this point, I talked to Charles Whitwam this morning. He's the Howl for Wildlife guy. He's sort of in a accidental wake ended up making a documentary called Killing Catalina that's about this subject. And if you want to know more, go and watch it. It's very educational. You'll learn a lot about what's going on there. But he's the guy I figured that kind of would know, without talking to somebody that works for the Catalina Island Conservancy, he's the guy that's probably dove into this the deepest, right? At this point, they haven't killed any deer that he knows of, but they're supposed to start sometime soon.
Like a helicopter program.
Not a helicopter program. No. That was the first thing that was put out there. That's how they got rid of the goats in the past. Okay. And there was a lot of public outcry against doing that because they had supposedly, 3-legged goats, wounded goats walking around, and it didn't look good.
They couldn't sharpshoot them as well.
Exactly. Yeah. So now the idea is that you would bring in government sharpshooters and do the killing. The locals and a lot of hunters, conservation orgs, and interestingly, people like the Humane Society of California have bonded together.
Strange bedfellows.
Yes, to oppose this. And actually, as of I think yesterday, there's a press release released today that I can just give you the real high look at it here, is that a coalition of hunting, conservation, sportsmen's advocacy organizations filed a lawsuit challenging the California Department of Fish and Wildlife's approval of a plan to exterminate the up to 2,000 mule deer on Catalina Island. So, like, Safari Club International is a part of that. A bunch of California's, smaller orgs are there. Howl for Wildlife.
Can I ask, what? It's obvious why someone group like the Humane Society would be against it. What are these hunting groups against it because they're about to lose hunting opportunity? Like, what are they?
I think that they're against it because, and from what I gather, is because it's a in their minds, it's a bad way to manage wildlife. And mostly because they didn't go through the proper channels, processes, steps to get this permit. Some stuff was fast-tracked. There was like a bill introduced last year that got through, and lo and behold, sponsors of this bill are related and interconnected with this Catalina Island Conservancy. And so some things happened to help make this permit kind of smooth right through, which, from what I researched, is that they've been trying to get this permit for 15 years.
Got it.
And California Department of Fish and Wildlife has been like, no, you guys don't have the science to prove that you guys need to be doing this. Because that's where it gets tricky, is that they basically have a private island. They control it, but they don't control the animals.
Sure.
Because the animals are owned by the
state,
people of California.
How do the locals feel about the deer?
And by locals, what do you mean though?
Well, there's people that live on the island, right?
Yeah.
But they live on the property of the people that want to kill the deer.
Sure.
But interestingly, they're opposed to the killing of
the people that are renting from the family that owns the thing.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's so it's
year-round
it's so
population
sticky.
of about 4,000
Yeah.
people.
So
there's two of them for each deer.
They actually passed in the last year. I don't know if you'd call it legislation or a zoning thing but basically within the town of Avalon, which must be like incorporated, and so it's
I've been there.
It's the other 20% of the island that isn't controlled by the Catalina Island Conservancy. They basically passed a law where you cannot shoot or discharge firearms within those limits. And of course, that is where most of these deer live.
And that's where all the people are, though. Like when you come in there, it's like a beautiful little bay and a port, and
it's beautiful.
Real walk around, get an ice cream cone kind of vibe.
Yeah. But they made it so that they're not going to be able to kill every single deer off the island, because basically the ones now that are in town cannot be eradicated.
Are there any real studs? I'm not talking about the townspeople.
Gotta be.
Are there any studs on this island, or are they dinks?
Just the few images that I saw, nothing that would fall into like nice Colorado mule deer.
I looked into it. It's not like a destination mule. Dudes aren't like secretly.
It's not like Antelope Island.
Yeah. No. Nothing like that.
No.
Okay.
No.
Here, I'm going to state the real obvious on this one. It brings up an interesting question of how far from the native source do you need to be where it becomes like irrefutably an exotic?
Mm-hmm.
So like take something like nilgai in South Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Indian, like I think they're predominantly from like the Indian subcontinent. Am I right about that?
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I think so. To Texas. When I look at when I spin the old globe, I'm like, that is a non-native from way far away. Like that has nothing.
Yeah.
That has nothing to do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Nothing to do with that. That's its own little thing. Their fate, the fate of the nilgai in South Texas, is not related to sort of like the fate of nilgai as a wild species in general. When you get to a situation like this where you can look and see where they're from.
It's 22 miles from Los Angeles is the Catalina Island.
You can look and see where they're native.
Yeah, it wouldn't be impossible for a deer to make that swim.
No.
Oh, look at Southeast Alaska. You see those blacktails swimming around
all
up
over
there?
hell.
Yeah.
So it's like, it does bring up an interesting question. I'd be like, okay, they came in with people, but I mean, dude, it's just right. Their native range is like right there. You can't rule out that one hasn't made the swim.
But it is an island, which like island ecosystems operate differently than a mainland.
I'd like to refer listeners to, I can't remember the name of it, David Quammen's book on island biogeography, which explains all this kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Why islands are so special. Why do mammals shrink and lizards get huge? All that kind of stuff on islands. I don't know, man. I'm a real fence sitter on this one. I'm kind of on the side of the mule. Here's why I'm on the side of the mule deer. I don't know. Go ahead. I don't know. Who cares? What
something else just to plop in there, right? There's this buffalo herd. I think the highest number it ever got was like up to 1,600 or something like that.
Okay.
It's been there roughly the same amount of time as these mule deer.
It came in to film a movie.
Yeah. They're right now approximately 100 there.
Okay.
They think there's roughly 2,000 of these deer, or at least that's what the Catalina Island Conservancy. The outfitter and a lot of the locals and people that have hunted there think there's a lot less than 2,000 deer.
Can someone do the math? If you go, how many buffalo?
100.
Let's say so 100 at, let's say, 1,200 pounds, and how many deer?
2,000.
2,000 at, let's say, 120 pounds.
Oh wait, hold on. 100 at what?
100 at 1,200.
At 12.
Someone's going to write in a correction about this.
Yeah, I was going to say we're getting on dangerous ground here.
100 at 1,200.
Especially since buffalo are grazers and mule deer are browsers.
With those numbers, it'd be 120,000 pounds of biomass for the bison versus 240,000 for the mule deer. So mule deer is double.
Twice as much biomass as mule deer. Okay.
Double.
Go on,
if you look
Jani.
by those numbers.
Correction. I don't think that's going to get corrected.
Because it's correct.
The buffalo are just a little less sort of iconic of the island than a little bit more than the deer. The deer are like very much a part of it. Locals love them. People love to go there and see them. But the buffalo are just a little bit cooler. There's, murals of buffalo. There's weather vanes of buffalo. Like it's very much a part of them.
When I went there, it was for this reason.
To check the buffalo out.
But I'm not writing about it. But I went there to write about it. But I never got to it.
Yeah. Wasn't I researching us going to do a hunt there at some point?
Probably.
But anyways, they've all been sterilized. So you would think that you couldn't keep these buffalo going, right? Or they wouldn't. If they're all sterilized and they're not going to reproduce,
they're going to blink out.
They're eventually going to blink out.
But you're not going to sterilize 2,000 deer.
When that question was posed to the main scientist of the Conservancy, she had a very lackluster, vague answer as to what's going to happen to those bison. Where it just, at that moment, you really feel like she's a mouthpiece for this other, thing that's going on. She's, not necessarily in control, because if you're going to take out 2,000 deer, take out the 100 bison too, right? And just like, don't have any of that kind of grazing going on the landscape, right? But because the locals and the tourists and everything, there's even that much more, probably comes down to money. And attached to it. They're like, well, maybe we'll keep them around. Kind of, a little bit.
Understood.
Somehow. We're not going to get rid of them completely. Like I said, it's just thick with sort of all these just like little ideas of what's going on, who's thinking what, why are they doing it.
Did you talk about what they're going to do? Like they're just going to let the deer lay after they're not going to get used?
Yeah, there's no plan for it. It's not like they're going to donate it all to a food bank.
No, that's
so. Crystal ball it for me, based on your 24 hours of nonstop research. Jani's been up all night. Crystal ball it for me. If you had to say if we're gonna go to a prediction market thing and make a bet.
Yeah.
And I said in 5 years, in 5 years, Catalina Island will have no mule deer. Like whatever, how are you going to bet on it?
I think that they will have mule deer. I think the main thing that's like a big sticking point to anybody that sort of tries to figure the story out is that it looks like they don't actually have a good survey of how many deer on the island.
Okay.
Some people are like, there's 500. Some people are saying there's 2,200. No one really knows. And so you can't really go anywhere. You can't extrapolate from there if you don't know exactly how many deer on this island, right? And you think they could be able to figure that out. I'm imagining that because it's getting so much press, that this lawsuit was filed. The California Division of Wildlife is going to Fish and Game, whatever they call themselves.
They're going to walk back.
They're going to walk back that permit and going to say, hey, hold on. We need to do this the right way. We're here to manage wildlife. Let's do it the right way. And so I think that it's probably going to come back to a private lands management permit, which is what they're operating under now, to have a hunting program.
What they need to do is they need to go take one of them big jets with a lot of seats in it. Go to Cazenovia, Wisconsin. Put everybody from Cazenovia, Wisconsin on that jet and fly them out to Catalina for a big mooch.
A big old, yeah.
I'm talking a big mooch.
Feel like lemmings getting pushed into the ocean.
They'd all just run into town where they're safe.
Doug's in charge. Doug Duran gets a map of the island. He gets his laser pointer. You sit here. You sit here. At 10, you do this. At 10:22, you get out of your blind and do this. Big mooch.
Sounds like fun.
It'll whittle him down. But here's my final take on it. Not that it matters. My final take on it is, since a thing I would factor in, you have so many areas you can point to where mule deer are not doing good.
Mm-hmm.
The island is so close to native mule deer range. I would take these two things and I would say, we have a lot of areas where mule deer are not doing good. This is sort of like honorary native mule deer range because it's so close. It's a bright spot for mule deer. They're doing well there. It's more valuable to have reassurance about the long-term ability of mule deer. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it could be a potential source location for future reintroductions. I don't know. If I was emperor of the planet, I would say lower the numbers through greater public hunting opportunities, lower the numbers down, but let's set aside talk of eradication.
It's also a population that's more than likely pretty safe from CWD. You know what I mean? If they were careful.
What if I said, though, it came at the cost of losing several, native endemic species that only are found?
What are the species?
Floral species that are only found on that island.
And they're still there after 100 years of grazing?
Yeah.
And have they done everything they could do to reseed? And I'd have to know more. I'm just spitballing here.
Yeah.
We got to move on.
I'm just saying, I'm just throwing that in there. Would you still say, hey, we really need this little micro?
No, I would factor that in. I would factor that in.
Deer.
If there was a chance that there was an endemic plant species that was going to blink out and go extinct, and by having no mule deer, I knew that I could save that endemic plant species, and it was that binary, that would make my decision much more complicated, and I would probably tip toward the endemic plant species. Keep an eye on the story for us, Giannis.
I will.
Great job.
There'll be plenty.
If there was an award for reporting on a news story, Jani would win a pair of boots.
Oh.
Well, I haven't got to go yet.
Well, I'm the only point of comparison you have, so I'm trying not to take that personally.
Well, you know who's going to be out. Brody, we're going to have to hold the Coloradans can't embarrass themselves anymore until they did story.
We running out of time.
We're going to punt.
I'm out of here. See ya.
Over to Spencer for Rattlesnake Roundup.
This weekend, March 13th through the 15th, is the 68th annual world's largest rattlesnake roundup in Sweetwater, Texas. It's been going on since 1958. Not even COVID stopped them from having a couple of their festivals.
That's great.
There's a parade, a carnival, a gun and coin show, dance, guided rattlesnake hunts that you can sign up for. Those cost $75 to go catch one. Cooking competition with categories such as brisket, ribs, chili, beans, Bloody Marys, and of course, rattlesnake. But the big attraction is the rattlesnake hunting contest. And hunters, they'll spend weeks or months catching rattlesnakes that will then get entered into the contest.
You can stock them up ahead of time?
Far in advance.
They don't let you do that with bass fishing.
No, it's unclear to me. It seems as though you need to keep them alive to enter that, but I couldn't confirm that with anything. But you need to keep these snakes alive.
Are they managed in any way? in some states, rattlesnakes, like there's a limit. And they're managed as some kind of like
they tell you on the
game species
on the
thing.
website you need to have a permit from the state of Texas, whatever like a small game permit, whatever their equivalent is.
A collection permit of some sort.
And for the first 3,000 pounds of rattlesnakes brought in, the Sweetwater JCs will pay $20 per pound for those rattlesnakes.
What do they want them for?
We'll get to it. We'll get to it. But anyways, $20 a pound.
Like that.
It was $5 per pound in 2006. So that's a $15 increase. And if you were doing inflation, that $5 would be about $9 today. So they've doubled, even if you account for inflation and what they're paying. For the next 5,000 pounds, they pay $15 per pound. And then they stop paying altogether if they have more than 8,000 pounds of rattlesnakes brought in.
Is that Phil just put up a photo? Is that guy so confident in his snake chaps that he's just standing in among those rattlesnakes?
Seems as though he is. There's rattlesnakes on top of rattlesnakes, and he is within centimeters.
And he's like, my chaps are good.
Well, it looks like he's just flicking one off his boot there.
Yeah.
How many different
We should
species
go there
of
one
rattlesnakes
year.
are we
No,
talking?
thank you.
It's
No,
just
terrible.
Not a
It
big
is-
snake guy.
It is just the Western Diamondback that
They
you
look-
can
I'll
they
bring.
go
look
with
very
Spencer.
different. Looks like there's different species in there.
Jeez.
Now, first
Oh.
prize for bringing in the most pounds of snakes is $1,000. The longest snake gets $500. Their all-time record is an 81.5-inch rattlesnake.
What's that come out to in feet?
It's like a teenage.
Almost 7.
7, a little less than.
Correction.
We're looking at it.
Their website has results from the last decade, and from looking at these, it's clear that there is a Sweetwater rattlesnake hunting goat. Andy Lee has won 5 of the last 9 contests.
Wow.
Is this gal?
Including in
I don't think that's
2024
Andy.
Oh,
Well, I
and
guess it could be with an eye.
2025.
Why don't we get that guy on the show? What's his name?
Andy Lee.
Can you get him on the show?
I've got some more details for you on Andy. Last year, he brought in 651 pounds of rattlesnakes, which beat second place by 39 pounds. Now, here's some good journalism, Steve. When I Googled Andy's name, I learned that he owns a pest control business in Texas.
Oh, so
That
he's
makes
got a hotline on
sense.
it.
He is double dipping. First, someone pays him to come remove a snake from under their porch.
Yep.
And then he goes and enters it in this contest.
This does not dissuade me from wanting him on the show.
No, I'm with you. But last year with that winning weight, if he would have entered it in the first 3,000 pounds, he would have made $14,000.
How many snakes? Does it say how many snakes?
It
Is
doesn't-
650?
It doesn't say. It's always measured in pounds on their website.
There he is right there.
There he is. That's his the business he owns, Andy Lee.
And
He
who's
owns-
Dee Dee? Dee Dee
That's
must be his wife.
Then they own the business together.
Wow.
Now, Steve asked what happens to these snakes. They're registered, then they're skinned, battered, deep fried, and sold at the concession stands. And
You're not eating up that many snakes. Give me a break.
Phil's got a picture of that. They said they're eating them. They're
They're
also-
going through that whole batch of snakes.
I don't know.
I
And the
think
skin's
some of
going
us
to a
should go and
separate
visit.
market?
It doesn't say what they do with the skins. Phil's got a
assume.
picture of how all them skinning in a line there. Look at that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
they're making some
They're
sweet
efficient.
leather product.
And
On average,
bloody handprints.
there are 4,000 pounds of rattlesnakes brought in each year. The record was set in 2016 when 25,000 pounds of diamondbacks were captured. There must have been something with the weather that year that just made a boom of rattlesnakes. Now, here's the most amazing part, I think. I found a quote from Texas A&M in 2006 that said they estimate the Roundup captures 1% of the state's entire western diamondback population
Every year.
every year.
But they have I wonder, have you encountered what sort of harvest rate? Like a state would have deer harvest
Mm-hmm.
and they're gonna kill 10%, 11%, 12% of the state's deer.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know about the fecundity of rattlesnakes, but I'm guessing 1% is well within recovery.
I imagine if this is the world's largest version of this and it still exists, then yeah, they're not worried about hurting the western diamondback population in Texas if it continues on. Now, it's very popular in the community. They expect 25,000 visitors this year. Again, it's this weekend. That pumps in $8 million to the local economy. So go check it out if you live in Central Texas.
What's up with the bloody handprints on the wall?
Well, I think they're taking
Shock
them
you.
hands that are all bloody and pressing them on that wall.
Yeah, well, I
know.
gathered that part. It's interesting.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's like little cave paintings.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'll save it.
68th annual world's largest rattlesnake roundup.
Oh.
What town?
Sweetwater, Texas.
Sweetwater.
Central Texas.
Excellent reporting.
Thank you. Did it best Jani or no?
No.
I think it's pretty
No.
good.
I mean, the quality of the reporting and the
efficiency.
delivery,
Mm-hmm.
but it just didn't make as much gravy.
Okay.
I'm still third.
It's what is it when you just don't even get mentioned? Like picture at the Olympics,
The absence of an honorable
like at the
mention.
Olympics, you got the gold, silver, and bronze, you know, but they don't even let a guy get on the.
Randall, at least you got to compete.
Yeah.
Oh no, Randall, I'm just joking, man. I thought
No,
you
it's
did.
fine.
I thought you did a great job.
Maybe
Thank
I
you.
could tilt the scales a little more. So back to the Trump America the Beautiful card.
Okay.
The Center of Biological, what is it? The Center for Biological
The
Diversity.
anti-hunting organization.
They are suing him for doing that. They started that lawsuit in December. I reached out to them for an update on the lawsuit.
Funny, I was going to talk about those folks in my section.
Their update is they don't have an update yet, but they're working on it behind the scenes.
Yep.
So we don't know what the fate of it. By the time they wrap it up, this card will no longer even be good. So should
Although
be
they do a
It's a
lot of
calendar year,
like
isn't it?
posture.
I'm sorry,
understood. I understand.
do a
It's
lot
a year
of
from the day you
posturing.
buy it.
Right, but what would happen? Say best case scenario for them happens, and they win this lawsuit against the Trump administration. Then
Yeah.
what? We're gonna reissue
I don't know.
100,000 cards.
Well, maybe someone who chooses to buy their pass in December of this year. They'll
They
get
have
some-
a they have
only
a people
sell
for the ethical
100
treatment of animals-esque wing.
They do.
Mhm.
Center for Biological.
Yes,
they
they do.
use some of the same type of people
Yes.
to think up campaigns that they're like, oh no. It's not that we'll win.
Yeah.
It's just that it'll be reported on.
This is right in their wheelhouse
Yeah.
for what they would do is have a lawsuit like this.
All right, Brody, I'm real sorry, buddy.
No, but you did say they do things to posture. The Center for Biological Diversity, like they got something done in Colorado,
Mm-hmm.
which is not good.
Next week's
Well,
episode.
it's not done.
It's not done, but
You think it's going to pass?
it already passed.
No, but you think it's going to become law?
but it already they're just in the rulemaking process now.
Yeah, but I thought the rulemaking process would get so like that it wouldn't go, or people were thinking it wouldn't go.
We'll see. We'll report on it next week.
That one needs time.
Couldn't have scripted it any better.
Yeah, that one needs time.
Yeah.
Okay, going over for our final story. Is this our final story? Yeah. Right?
Mhm.
Yeah. That
If
was
you're
it.
gonna, yeah.
Going over for our final story. I heard a very interesting thing recently. My brother Danny up in Alaska has a buddy. My brother Danny works for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. He has a colleague who is he'll explain what he does. I was learning about that when imports come into the country, right? There's a customs process around processing imports. And here's where you would look for like illegal wildlife imports, meaning things you could imagine, like someone opens up a crate and they're like, good Lord, it's full of rhino horns. Like that's going to be a problem, right? But there are other things that you might not know about that customs officials look at. And U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, when it comes to wildlife issues, that is their turf, okay? And I was learning about a thing I had no idea that it even existed, is that people make fake eyelashes out of mink fur. And since it's a wildlife product, it needs to be imported in a certain way. And I was learning about how wildlife officials will detect, find, and seize incoming fake eyelashes made of mink, which I feel are being worn by people who have no idea what they're wearing.
Definitely not.
Over to our guest. Ready, Phil?
Yeah.
God, you didn't see that coming?
Well, I thought there would be a little bit more to do before we bring him in, but hey, he's here.
No.
Yeah, like, women and fake eyelashes. The history of that, but that's okay.
Brian Olin, how's it going? Oh.
Good morning. Yeah, it's going well. I guess I should have worn some eyelashes today so I could have demonstrated that for you, but I didn't include that in my morning routine. So
You're forgiven. Lay this out for us. Like lay out for us what form these things take, how you know about them, where they come from, whatever you got for us.
Gotcha. So yeah, I didn't know about them, not surprisingly, before I started this job about 5 years ago. We all know about fake eyelashes, but there is a pretty significant quantity of them being made from mink. Certainly also made from like silk and other synthetic materials. But they look like just like a half moon or crescent moon shape, like adhesive strip with individual pieces of mink hair, I guess just attached or glued on there. They're when you like do some research on them and say that they're more fluttery looking, a little more naturally looking, the mink hair ones versus the synthetic ones. So there's some ways you can kind of, once you look at 500 or 600 of these things, you can kind of tell them apart pretty easily. But the mink hair kind of tapers to a point, whereas like the synthetic materials are more like truncated and chopped. You can kind of tell that with the naked eye. So yeah, we're inspecting these kind of, it comes and goes in waves, but daily across the U.S. And we're here in Anchorage, Alaska, so most of our imports are coming from Southeast Asia. So yeah, we're looking at air cargo coming in and trying to stop these and make sure they're imported in the correct manner.
What would be the correct manner? Like, they're not like a mink eyelash isn't necessarily illegal. It's just that the way they're bringing them in, they're not declaring them as a wildlife product. Is that the problem?
Yeah. So mink aren't particularly highly protected, like you mentioned, rhino horn. Obviously, they're not in the same level. Most of these are farmed mink, and so they just need to have a few things done. If you're commercially importing, you got to have an import permit from us, and then you have to declare every shipment as it arrives. Declare it to the genus and species, so we know what animal you're using and the quantity. So that's the biggest violation for the mink eyelashes, is they're just failing to declare or failure to obtain a license.
So do this for people. You told me how this works, but let's say someone's sitting at home right now and they're just curious if their fake eyelashes are made of mink or not. Tell them the little test you do to find out what exactly you're looking at.
Sure. Yeah. So if you have a pair that maybe you took off and you already wore once or twice, you can just take a match and burn part of that and get a good whiff and see what it smells like. And if it smells like burned hair or like petroleum plastic, that'll tell you right off the bat if it's a natural product or a synthetic product.
Huh. How many times, if you had to get, like, you've been there 5 years, how many different times have you encountered mink eyelashes coming into your port?
Hundreds.
Yeah. Hundreds.
It's not every day anymore, but these things kind of come and go in waves. So much of it is driven by like the fashion industry and what's popular. And I think right now we're kind of at like a lull, at least in our port, of what we're seeing. So maybe there's some, people are starting to realize that they are made of mink and they don't want that. But it seems like it's on a downward trend right now. But like 10 years ago, it was probably tenfold amount of products coming in.
You know how fashion becomes self-parody? Meaning a thing becomes fashionable and then it just tries to one-up itself, right? Like a hole in your jeans, that's fashionable. So then eventually it's that the whole front of your jeans is gone. Or there's holes from top to bottom because it self-parodies itself. Are mink eyelashes subtle? Or are they like, you want to see big eyelashes? Check these out. Like, how would you rank a mink eyelash?
Oh, yeah, like on flutteriness. I'd say they're up there in the amount of flutter they have.
Oh, so it's an exaggerated eyelash. It's like a big eyelash.
Well, at times it is, yes, but like there's so many variations that you'll see that smaller, more kind of petite ones, and then ones that are just comically large. But
got it. So you could be
mink are
classy
definitely a
and
little
still
bit
be wearing
fluffier.
mink. You could be classy in mink, or you could be not in mink. It sounds like.
I think you can be classy.
Now, here's another question, if you don't mind adding in on this. Are you able to share with us a handful of other wildlife products that you've seen show up in your area of jurisdiction over your career there? Are you able to share some other examples of things that your agency might find coming into port in Anchorage, Alaska?
Sure. A lot of what we see is products. We don't see too many live animals. A lot of those are, they don't want their live animals to sit on the tarmac when it's like -20 out.
Got it.
They just don't survive.
So you're not a good port of entry for live.
No, not typically, although we just had some yesterday. Can't talk about those too much, but in the past years, like we had a viper come in a Pringles can from Southeast Asia. And that was an eye opener. So that's, like one of the more surprising. You're like, hey, but most of what we see is parts and products, feathers, shells, turtle products, turtle shell products.
Got it.
And occasionally live animals like birds.
Randall has a question, Steve.
Go ahead, Randall.
Yeah, of all those products, how many of those are like banned outright versus how many of those are simply trying to slide in undeclared?
Yeah, so that's part of our gig is to facilitate the legal trade. So we're there to find the real bad stuff, but also help people do it legally. Most, like the real bad stuff we don't see super often, like the rhino horn, the elephant tusks. Like we see that stuff, but it's pretty rare compared to like, oh, you're importing shell jewelry. That has to be declared. So that's of course more common. The more common the animal, the more common we're seeing the thing. So
are you often involved in the work of, let's say someone's importing shell jewelry? Does it fall on your agency to try to determine what is the genus and species? Because I can imagine it could be like very hard to figure out if it's polished shell,
right? How
you'd ever begin to understand, like, what is it from? Where did it come from, and what did they make it with?
Yeah. So it's upon the importer to declare it to the genus and species level, and they would rely on their exporter quite a bit for that.
Okay.
So it's not our position to determine that, but we do have to spend a lot of time trying to ID things because the importers, in illegal cases, they don't want to do that anyway. So we need to be able to do that to know that this might be a protected species or it may not be.
Yeah. Meaning someone could try to bring in a thing that could be that they could be declaring it as something permissible, but you'd have the obligation of verifying that it was what they're saying it is.
Exactly.
Whether that was a mistake or intentional, it could be a thing that would happen.
Yep. Like snake skins. There's protected snakes and there's non-protected snakes. So if you were wanting to try to sneak something in without permits, you might call it, a water snake versus a ball python or something.
Understood. You know what I didn't do a good job of when I started out? Brian, can you tell everybody what your agency, but also what your specific job title would be? Like what is your I don't know, what's on your badge?
Yeah. So I'm a wildlife inspector. I work for the Office of Law Enforcement, which is a law enforcement division of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. And so we work at all the ports of entry across the U.S. And we combat the illegal wildlife trafficking trade, and then, like I said, facilitate the legal trade.
Got it. And then you are based within. Are you within the Anchorage airport? Like where do you sit right now?
Yeah. So I'm at the Anchorage airport. We have an international side. So I'm at the office here today. We also have people over at the sorting facility for like the air cargo. So we get most of our cargoes coming in from Southeast Asia on the air side of things. We also have outports that we cover for like the highways between Canada and the U.S.
Okay,
like Alcan. We'll cover that as well.
Got one last question for you. Say a fella went over to Africa and he did some hunting, and he lives in Anchorage, and he waits 1,000,000 years, and finally the stuff he got in Africa arrives for him. Do you get to take a peek?
Yeah. Just yesterday I was inspecting a shipment from South Africa. So yeah, even non-commercial personal shipments have to be declared. So
Okay.
They'll arrive on cargo, and we'll go over there and make sure what they're declaring is accurate. If there's permits to collect, we'll collect those and stamp them and help them fill out paperwork. And yeah, that's kind of a fun thing of our job, is to kind of see that exotic stuff coming in.
You know what? I'm realizing he might be a very good trivia contestant on wildlife questions.
A lot of knowledge.
Wildlife questions. Brian, thanks for coming on the show and explaining all that to us, man. I want to go get me a set of these eyelashes and put them on. We should have done that today.
I thought about doing that today.
There's some pictures in there. I don't know if
I can't pull them up while Brian's on the
line.
Oh,
that's why he's not showing them.
That's right. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, officer. Appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I'm going to start going up to people, lighting their eyelashes on fire and smelling.
All right. Let me know what you find.
Thanks, Brian. What I'm looking at. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for joining the news show. Come on next week, and you're going to hear Brody talk all about a thing that I don't understand well, because I thought it was something different.
Okay, good plug.
Brody's got his work cut out for him.
I thought the rule-making process would prove so impossible that it was like some kind of problem.
Let's hope that's what happens. But it's not officially law yet. They got to go through some stuff. But
stay tuned.
With that, Wildlife Commission,
just when you thought Colorado, the animal rights community in Colorado could not embarrass their state anymore, they do. Next week on the news show.
When you flew out the window and into the sunset, I thought I would never stop screaming. Thought I would never stop screaming your name. But I ran out of breath, so I took in some more